Rev up your engines! Louise Menace says, great channel. I have a manual Scion 2006 and an automatic Pontiac Vibe 2010. What should I keep? I'd keep the Vibe. It's basically a Toyota Matrix, right? Because the Scions, many of those will end up burning oil because the engines were designed wrong on a bunch of those, right? And the Vibes, those can run forever. Sure, it says Pontiac, but really it's a Toyota Matrix. It's a Toyota engine and transmission and brakes, and they can last a really, really, really long time. I wouldn't poo-poo them at all. I got an 07 Matrix, and it runs like a clock. Got 37 miles a gallon driving from Rhode Island to Tennessee. You can't beat them. Spider Eternal says, you have any opinion on a 2023 Toyota Corolla hatchback? Thinking about buying one. I had a guy bring me a 2022. I loved it. He loves it. It's a new one. You never know. It's a new year. Who knows whether they made him right or not? I would assume they would make them right because it's a Toyota Corolla. Now, from my experience, unless they've changed things, the Toyota Corolla hatchbacks are all made in Japan. And if you go look at one that says made in Japan, definitely buy it. The ones made in Japan are the best. Absolute, positive best. All the hatchbacks that I've seen are made in Japan. If it is, buy it. You can't beat a Japanese-made Toyota. They're the best. Mr. Plaid said, Scotty, my 2017 Prius Prime feels like it's wobbling left and right while driving it. More noticeable at lower speeds. What could be? Generally, that's tires. Either your rim is bent or you got a bad tire. When the treads start to separate inside, they're no longer perfectly round, and at lower speeds, they wobble. But once you get going faster, the tires spin fast. They are rubber. Generally makes them round again, and they stop wobbling. So odds are you got a bad tire. Have them checked. Jack it up, spin them, and you'll see if they're bad. Lump, you see a lump when you spin them around. Odds are it's a bad tire. Or if you hit something with it, then the rim's bent, it'll do the same thing because the rim is bent, so now it's not sitting right, and it'll lump every time that it hits the bent part. JC says, Scotty, I got mist and smell coming through the vents after recharging the AC, topping up coolant. There was a leak, but bars leak fixed the leak in the coolant. Any ideas? All right, well, here's the problem. You got a mist and smell coming in, right? It's probably coolant. If it's sicky, sweet smell, it's coolant. Here's the thing. You put bars leaking. Bars leak is great for fixing radiator leaks. The radiator's in the front. It's got a lot of flow. It's almost useless for totally sealing heater core leaks. And if you smell and get a mist, that's the heater core leaking. And very rarely will any sealer ever fix a heater core. You have to physically take it out, which means taking a dash apart. It's a pain in the butt. Putting a new heater core in. Or it's summer, and if you don't care, go under the hood and find the two heater hoses under the hood. Take them off, and then splice them together. You can get a plastic splice kit at any auto parts store for $6. Then splice them together, and then they flow through there, not into the heater core. You won't have heat anymore, but it won't be leaking inside anymore either. If you want to fix that just for the time being and not spend a fortune putting a new heater core inside. Just Netavie says, good morning, Scotty. What are your thoughts on the 17 Corolla SE with a 1.8? How's the CVT in your opinion? Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you my son's opinion. My son in Rhode Island is a rather fast driver. He owns that exact same thing with the same transmission, the same engine, and he drives fast. And I've driven it, and it's fine. He actually gets better gas mileage than the ratings that were on the EPA ratings, which is phenomenal. So I'm impressed by it. Let me tell you, I think it's an impressive car. I'm not a CVT fan, but I got it at it. It's like, hey, whoa, it's a pretty good transmission and engine. Still runs like a top, gets phenomenal gas mileage, and it's zippy. He hates slow cars, so he always drove motorcycles, so I was surprised that he liked it. Rickety Split says, how reliable is a 5-liter Coyote in the 2013 Mustang? All right, it depends somewhat on you. They're good V8 engines, but the guys that really push them, that take them to the track, a lot of times they'll wear out prematurely, blow engines, and start burning oil like mad. You drive normal, you keep it under 100 miles an hour, it probably lasts you forever. But if you push it too much on a racetrack, any engine's going to break, and those did have problems with some of them breaking. If you push them too hard, you don't want to chance anything. So you want to use full synthetic oil and change it every 5,000 miles. It'll last as long as it possibly can. But like anything else, if you beat the heck out of it, it is going to break down. Truthfully, I do have to say, if you compare like Honda racing type engines against the Fords, the Hondas can take more abuse, higher RPM, and last longer than the Ford engines. Honda makes better engines. Now, they don't make any V8 engines. I guess they did for race cars, for Formula One and stuff, but they never made any V8s they sold to the public. They could if they wanted to, but they don't want to. Jean-Luc LaRusso says, Scotty, I love the channel. I have an 18 Toyota Camry 4-cylinder. My AC stops blowing cold when I'm stopped in traffic. My temperature starts going when I'm stopped. All right, I can just about guarantee you what's wrong. Your cooling fans aren't working right. That's a Camry. You got 2 cooling fans on the radiator, right? When you turn the AC on, both of those fans are supposed to be spinning. So start it up, let it run a few minutes, turn on AC, drive it around, then come to a stop. And then you see it's not blowing cold. Open the hood. You probably see that one or both fans aren't working. Now, if one's working and the other isn't, then buy the one that's broken. If they're both broken, then either find out if it's got a short or a blown fuse for both of them, or replace both motor assemblies. It's got to get that extra wind going when you're idling. Doesn't matter if one's broken, replace that. If they're both broken, replace them both. Aguilar says, good morning, I got a question. What's your opinion on a 93 Ford Aerostar XLT manual tranny with $150,000 for $750? Okay, $750 is nothing for a vehicle these days. The Ford Aerostars had one of the worst automatic transmissions Ford ever made, but that's a standard transmission. You go look at it. Start it up, drive it around. If it runs good, doesn't overheat, doesn't leak fluids all over, and it shifts and the clutch doesn't slip, go ahead and buy it. It's nothing for a vehicle. You don't have to worry about the automatic transmission because it doesn't have one. Now, it's going to be worn. It's a 93. You know, you're talking about what? 29-year-old vehicle. That thing is old. A lot of crap is probably going to go wrong. But if it's $750 and you can drive it and it doesn't overheat, what the heck? Why not? Heather Brissett says, all 4 brakes on my 99 Durango have been changed. Had to change the rear shoes twice in a month. Driver's side rear rim gets real hot and the rear stick. Front seems fine. Could it be the master cylinder? It could be that it's sticking only for the back ones, right? Here's a very easy way to check it. If the master cylinder's sticking, all you got to do is drive it, check up the vehicle, go to the back, open the bleeder valve. If you open the bleeder valve and then the wheel spins, you don't have to worry about it. The master cylinder's bad, replace it. If you loosen it and it doesn't, then you got a different problem. Something's wrong at the wheel itself. About the only other thing that could do that. Game Dude says, how do you feel about the Honda Ridgeline? They're pretty good vehicles, you know? They don't sell that many of them because Honda is not really a truck company, right? Those have good V6 engines, good transmissions. I have customers with them that like them. I got a customer with them that runs a plumbing company. He's got 2 of them. They both have 240-something thousand miles on them, and he loves them. So they can last a long time. Now, the real truck guys, they're generally either going to get Ford, Chevy, Ram, or a Toyota Tundra. But a lot of people are happy with the Hondas. They're not exceptionally large horsepower. They don't have heavy towing loads, but if it works for you, there's nothing wrong with getting them. Jeep says the 2024 Wrangler will be their killer, Jeepiest all-electric vehicle. They have other electric vehicles they're working on, but this, they say, will be the Jeepiest one. Now, they already have the 4xe plug-in. That's a plug-in hybrid. And they're selling pretty well because, you know, people with Jeeps, people are nuts about Jeeps. It's kind of like Harley Davidsons. People are nuts about them. It's an iconic American thing. And whether they're built right or built wrong, people buy them because they like them, they believe them, they like riding around in them. You know, Harley Davidson, there's tons of motorcycles that outperform them that last 10 times longer, but people want to have a Harley just like Jeeps. You know, ages ago, Jeeps are really well-built vehicles that can run a long time. Well, that was a long time ago. But people are still buying them. They like the name Jeep. They sell them overseas. Oh, American Jeep, and they want to buy a Jeep. Well, next year, they say they're going to have a fully electric one. It's going to be called the Magneto and the Magneto 2.0. At least they picked a good name. I'll give that to them. The original Magneto wasn't all that powerful. It had 285 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. But they say that the Magneto 2.0 is going to be a game changer for insane electric off-roading Jeeps. Because they say the 2.0 is going to be an 800-volt architecture electric with 625 horsepower, which of course would be insane, but which of course would go through electricity a lot faster too. People are going to buy Jeeps. As soon as they come out, they'll probably sell like hotcakes. People want to be the first ones to have the all-electric Jeep, and if they make the Magneto, these are all realized an idea. They haven't actually made any production ones. They're all tested vehicles now, but if they make the 625 horsepower one, guys are going to be chasing over each other to buy one. Many rocks they can climb with all this insane power, right? And of course, there's no mention of the price. I'm sure these things are going to be astronomically high. But they say 2024, they're going to have an electric Jeep. Not the plug-in hybrid like they have today, but an actual full electric one. So as 2024 models roll in, realize they roll in the second half of 2023. So it's a year or so from now that they'd even start rolling out. Even if they did roll out, then they always change all that stuff. Who knows? But they claim it's going to be a wild electric one with 625 horsepower. And I'm sure they would sell a lot of them if they actually are built. Stay tuned. We'll see if they build them. And we'll see what happens to them if they do build them. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.